I surrender to the transforming powers of the divine. I am open channel for creative energy. To find the hidden stone, the diamond, you must look within. Hello and welcome to Luna.
And the druid.
We are here today at Jan's studio
In the mountains.
in the mountains, up in Kerry Mountains. Perhaps we could actually leave the address in the description box. If you would love to visit Jan in his studio, there is a possibility to do that. Anyway, we gathered today to talk about the Temperance card and what Fool can learn from the Temperance card.
Yes. Temperance card is a card with many layers. So there's many lessons. We found 7 of them. We'll talk about them later. But of course, as usual, we first start with the history of the card.
Yes,
Where does it come from?
let's jump in.
Let's jump in. Whoa. We have 8 versions there. And of course, it starts 17th, 18th century, 16th sometimes with the Tarot de Marseille, where we already have a fully established temperance card. It's actually from depicted in many works of art in these days, where they um, show the virtues, like the 4 virtues: justice, strength, fortitude. What was the other one? Temperance and prudence. Yeah, these are the 4. Yeah,
I wouldn't know
prudence.
that
And
actually.
there's even that, and there is no prudence card actually. The
That's
other 3 have
interesting.
their own
Yeah,
cards:
that's
fortitude,
very
justice, and
interesting.
temperance. Some decks have, but normally they are not there. So a very ancient view. Um, Golden Dawn, art,
Typical classical temperance.
original. Yeah, original. Same idea. Throwing water in the wine, so to temper the effects of the alcohol. So hence the name temperance. It's actually the opposite of the sin gluttony. Temperance.
Mm.
So eating much, or just eating temperate. That's one of the meanings of the card and of what it represents. Then a very modern take, 2 modern cards here, from the Illuminati tarot, where we still have the angels. So it's very, very based on the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So Pamela called it Smith's idea, where you have an angel throwing the water, mixing the water and the wine together. And interesting card, isn't it?
Very.
Yeah, it's a lovely deck.
Very.
Illuminati tarot.
Yeah, the wings are a bit demonic, but they're not. But it's just the first look. It's very interesting card. You
It's
can't see me on the camera, but I'm just, my nose is in the card. It has so many details.
yeah, it's a very
Such a
expressive
lovely
card. The whole deck is very expressive, actually. Yeah, and then a more cartoonish modern take by Robert M. Place in the Alchemical Tarot, the one we did the reading with on Monday, and it was also a very lovely card, mixing and matching and balancing out stuff.
What is unusual? It's a smoke here instead of the water.
Yep, yeah, it's two colors of smoke, 2 flavors of smoke.
Interesting.
Interesting stuff, isn't
Very
it?
lovely deck. I like this one.
Yeah.
And let's do some of our crazy.
The crazy
approach.
stuff, yeah. The Witch's Tarot. What can you tell about that one?
Oh my goodness, I'll show you closer. This is the most wicked temperance I've ever seen. It mixes the rainbow, actually. I'm not sure if it's focusing or not.
Yeah, it is.
The angel is actually a witch with some butterflies kind of wings or something like that. I'm not particularly drawn to this one. Not at all. But what I like about this card is a lot of green, a lot of calming energy.
Yeah.
But it's a very different approach to temperance cards. I have problems with connecting with this card, if I'll be honest.
Yeah.
For this one here, this is another interesting. Which deck is this?
This is the Tarot del Corazon Druida.
Oh wow!
So the tarot of the druidic heart, and it's made by an artist in Madrid, in Spain.
Oh, I'm not surprised that it's a druidic deck.
Yeah,
just by the look on the face here.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to hold this
Yeah.
card
And
properly.
the fun thing of the deck is that it's actually a modern deck because it was created recently, but especially the minor arcana is very much influenced by the Tarot de Marseille. Because
Mm.
the Southern European tarots, they all
Yeah.
have this element where you have the minor arcana is pip cards as abstract
Yeah.
figures, and this deck has that.
Mm. I love it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's very different. What is also unusual, it's the image of a woman's angel
yeah,
or female-ish, but with those two cards, which actually happen to lie one under the other one, have a more like masculine look on
yep,
to the face.
yeah, yeah,
hmm This is an interesting one, the third one here,
yeah,
because this is an AI created deck.
yeah.
I'll show you
It's
closer. I
and it's
went through that deck before we started recording, and it's a weird position. Some of the cards I loved, some of the cards I not necessarily
yeah,
liked, but this one we decided to bring today because it's a different approach to temperance completely. There is no of the flow, which is a characteristic thing for temperance here.
yeah. It's more like balancing and alchemy. It's
Yeah.
actually the deck is called the Tarot of the Everlasting Day by
Mm.
Marcus Katz. Every or many tarot readers have books by him. I think he might have written like 50 books on the tarot.
Oh wow.
He's known for the program of Tarosophy, and he's the
Mm.
leader of the Tarosophy Tarot Association. And this is actually the first ever AI created deck because
Wow.
he's not an artist, so he used AI as his artist
Yeah, he did a
expression.
pretty
It,
good job.
a nice
And
job. It's probably the only AI deck I will ever buy.
mhm. Yeah, we have the similar opinion about the AI decks. There are just you can feel that there is no energy
Yeah,
into it. There is no energy of creation brought into it.
yeah, yeah,
But what I like, it says here, by our work we are changed, and I really love this sentence.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And this is one of my study decks. It's called um, the Tarot of Magical Correspondences.
Mm.
So it brings aspects you usually don't see in the cards, like the position in the Kabbalah tree of life between path number 25 between Tiferet and Yesod. So
Mm.
from the sun we go down into the closer to the earthy matters. We see the plants connected to it. We see, of course, the water, the arrow of fire. Um, Sagittarius, which is of course the
Zodiac
the zodiac
correlation.
correlationship is here in the corner. Magical numbers connected, magical stones connected. So it's more or less a study deck, the Tarot of
Mm.
Magical Correspondences, and it's hardly ever used for reading.
Mm. You may ask why there is no temperance from the top deck card on the table. If you've been watching us regularly, you know that that's an unusual thing for Jan. Would you like to
Yes, I can. I
share
can
why?
elaborate on that. I can
Yes.
elaborate on that, because in the TOS deck there is a card number 14, rightly so, but it's not temperance.
Mm.
It's we see one of the aspects of the TOS tarot. We see back on this card on its keywords, which says alchemy. I don't know if you can read it. Yeah, the last word is alchemy, and that's actually art. Is the name of the card number 14 in the TOS deck, representing alchemy, representing the alchemical processes, even between men and women, creating children. It
Mm.
creates the alchemical processes of working together, blending in stuff. So it's a very different approach. So we decided to give that one an extra episode.
Yes, a completely separate one on that
Yeah,
particular
so
card.
we do card number 14 twice.
Mm.
We might even do card number 20 twice as well, because that's also a very different one. The Eon
Yeah,
card in the and the Judgment, they are very, uh, very different
I actually
energies.
love Judgment card because of the different energies it holds.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
idea. But then on to the card meaning. So the card meaning in general would be peace, delusion, or like we said, or uh, canceling out the ups and lows in life, and be temperate when you're down, but also
Hmm.
temperate
When you're too high.
when you're happy, when you're
Yeah,
too high, because when you're too high, the drop down is steeper and deeper.
it's so true.
Yeah, so don't get carried away when things go sideways in life, but don't get carried away either when everything looks to
Mm,
be super, because tomorrow can be a totally different day.
exactly.
And don't be afraid of it, but just
Aim for
don't
balance.
aim for balance. Don't be
Mm.
too carried away in the energy of the day, and try to balance it out a little. So, what are the topics? What are the lessons of the full
Mm.
four temperance? So that's number one.
The virtue of balance.
And number two,
Integration of opposites.
number three,
Healing and renewal.
number four,
Patience and timing.
number five,
Purposeful progress.
number six.
Alchemy and
Oh, there we
transformation.
have it. And number
Yeah.
seven,
Spiritual harmony.
yeah,
And as we said, the alchemy and transformation itself, we're going to record a separate episode about it.
yeah,
And so today we're just going to briefly touch on that. But let's focus on the first one, the virtue of balance. And Jan already mentioned the importance of balance, the importance of weighing things out on the scale so it would be even up. Before we hit recorded, we were setting up the studio with the camera, and balance was super important because the camera tended to tilt a little bit. So Jan came up with a wonderful idea. Like probably you saw it in photography studio or something. He just hung a sack with something to level this up. And it was such a great example to have and such a great situation to experience before we started to
yeah,
talk about temperance card, because we actually learned ourselves the importance of balance. It was annoying us. It was just tilt a little bit, but we could see that.
yeah,
And of course, where the focus goes, energy flows, which was very distracting. So after gaining the balance, we could relax and we could focus on what we actually wanted to do.
yeah. That's it.
Mhm.
And so balance represents moderation and purpose. It represents um, being in harmony. It's harmonious balance, uh, not getting too much carried away with everything, and blending of opposites. And
Mm.
that's of course a separate topic. Um, yeah, finding middle ground, sustained harmony, and order. Yeah, love that
Mm.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, balance is very important and
yeah,
it is a virtue.
yeah. Then we go to integration of opposites, and that's what we see a lot in the cards, where we see the flow from one vessel into another,
Yeah.
and we integrate um, the opposites. Sometimes in some cards you say we integrate even the water and the wine, and the water and the wine are opposites because the
Mm-hmm.
water is pure and the wine is pure as well, but in a
Pure
totally different,
evil.
a totally different way, a totally different way. And so it's the dual aspects of nature that we bring together.
Yeah, also opposite forces for opposite strengths, opposite meanings sometimes, opposite situations, opposite challenges, opposite decisions, even that
Yeah.
all can be bring into that integration of opposites.
Yeah, and finding there even the opposites in ourselves. We often use archetypes for the cards. Temperance is an archetype of a virtue, but we also have archetypes
Mhm.
like emperors and empresses and devils and everything. And none of us can be represented by just one tarot card.
Oh no.
We always have a blend of many cards together, and that's the integration of all these opposites,
Mm.
because we sometimes have a devil card and an empress card next to it, and they seem opposites, but of course they create a balanced personality where.
feminine, masculine
Boom.
energy.
Yeah.
This is the best example of opposite energy. And yet we still manage, or at least we should manage to balance those energies and integrate them, because we need both energies. Just because I'm a woman and he's a man, it doesn't mean that he's only using his masculine energy and I'm tapping into the feminine. Not at all. It's the integration of those two forces,
Yeah.
and forces of creation and making things happen.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the funny thing is that's where you get the X and the Y chromosome, which are the
Mm,
opposites as well, and it seems like there's only of the many chromosomes that there's only one that represents the sex. So it's
exactly.
you might have 49% male and 51 female,
Mm,
then you're a man,
yeah,
and the other way around. So we're so close to each other,
that's true.
and as
It's a
male and
tiny
female.
little detail,
It's a tiny little
which
detail
in
that
physicality,
sets us apart, but still
yeah, the difference is massive in terms of the result.
of the yeah,
Yeah,
but the input is nearly the
mm,
same. So
that's so true.
very interesting. So integration of opposites
Mm.
into
Healing and renewal. That's a lovely aspect of Temperance card.
yeah,
Um,
where we restore vitality.
yeah, vitality, health, also emotions, because with the water being pulled into those cups, it always takes me to emotions and our emotional well being, which is the key to well being, because our emotions are the drivers. They get us. They sometimes rule even us if we don't learn to control them.
Mhm.
And it's an important skill to manage how to deal with your emotions and how to use them for good, for making things happen, for example,
Yeah,
for manifesting,
yeah,
rather than being controlled by them.
yeah. And in the manifested world, so it means the healing of both mind and body,
Yeah.
or mind and body. Even
Mm,
like spirit doesn't need to be healed. Spirit is just
no.
spirit. That's that's a whole totally different level. But we need to balance, yeah, will and appetite.
Yeah.
That's the will and
That's a great
appetite
example.
are like I said, the virtue of
Mm,
will and the sin of gluttony or appetite,
yeah.
and balancing them out
Overeating. Oh, sorry.
for healing and restoration. For
That's
healing
that's a
ourselves.
that's a good example, actually.
Yeah.
There, how, what's the saying? There is a power. There is a will. There is a way.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah.
And I think that's an important, it maybe not super connected with temperance itself, but that describes the power of will itself.
Yeah.
And it can drive us to do things we normally wouldn't if there is something else connected to it. But that's a different topic, and I don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're absolutely right there. Um, uh, so it's willpower that drives us. It's willpower that we manifest the biggest thing in us, and yeah, the opposite side is
Yeah,
losing your willpower
exactly.
and losing your strength and yeah,
And it's
going
normal
away.
and natural to want something and do your entire best and still give up for a moment, or that's normal and natural, being human, I guess.
That's what we do. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What else do we have here? Oh, sorry, I keep kicking you.
No problem. That's the fun thing when we're together. You can kick me or or hit me.
Thank God you didn't see on the camera what was going on. Anyway,
Yeah,
patience and timing.
patience and timing.
Mm,
Yeah, of course. That's also the one of the important aspects of temperance is patience. Um, and that's related to the previous topic,
mhm.
because we have the will, we have the need, we have the want to manifest changes or manifest big new ideas in our life, and then we try to manifest them, and nothing happens.
Yeah. Well, in this world, it's a very dense energy wise world. The 3D we live in, it's a dense energy which takes time to change, to create. The alchemy takes time because that's what it is in this particular
Hmm.
energy level. And we live in such a fast-paced environment. Everything's instant. With a click of fingers, you can get your food being delivered, your shopping. You can get constant entertainment by switching on the TV or taking your phone and switching the social media apps or whatever it is to bring that dopamine, basically bring
That's
that effect
yeah, yeah,
of pleasure, of happiness. And as humans, what I observe, we lose the virtue of patience in general, because to me it is a virtue to and what is actually patience? It's not sitting and doing nothing. It's
no,
actually allowing for the things to happen in its natural
yeah,
time,
yeah. It's the
accepting that it hasn't manifested yet, but at the same time knowing that it's coming, it's on its way. It's that feeling of peace and calm that I'm okay with the time it takes.
yeah, and it's the actually the mixture of temperance and prudence,
Mm,
where what we normally what we forget there with patience, it's sometimes it just takes time to create something like a piece of art, a nice piece of
mm,
art or a nice piece of work. You can't rush it, or even a craft work, or even a carpenter or a painter. When you rush it, you spill, you make a mess of it. And by using the time, um, it's good. And I remember just someone has said, "Yeah, but why did you make such a mess of it?" He says, "Yes, but I needed to get it done quickly." Says, "Yeah, so if you don't have the time to do it properly, how can you find the time to do it twice?"
exactly. And there's also a great saying: if you're meditate for an hour, but if you're busy, meditate for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. But it's important to look at the temperance as a teacher of laws of nature and the flow of nature, because nature takes its time. The good things usually take time to be created. For example, fruits. The time between planting a seed and actually enjoying the fruit, it's good few months. Usually it's
Mm,
even like
yeah,
around 6 months. So it
yeah,
takes time.
yeah,
And the seed is changing constantly. Just because we can't see it, what's happening on underground, the seed is going through a constant change, but at the same time, it's patience with the process. It's patient. It's allowing the process to
yeah.
take over and take the seed where it's supposed to be, which is to grow, and then grow roots, grow all the trunk and
Mhm.
whatever plant it is,
Yeah.
and then give fruits.
Yeah, well, there's a good saying: the man that plants the tree or that plants the seed will never see the tree full grown.
Yeah, and we'll never sit
See,
under its
it
shadow.
will never see it under its shadow.
Yeah,
Too. That's why the best time to plant a tree is a few years ago, and the
exactly.
second best
Mm.
time is today.
And that's what I love about people who plant trees, is that they're not doing it for themselves. Obviously, it makes them feel good, but they do it for future generations, because it's the future generation which will enjoy the shadow and the goodness of the tree the most. Mm.
Ah, lovely. So patience and timing. Timing is
Hmm.
crucial. Patience is crucial.
Yes. Everything happens in the right time and not a second earlier or later.
Yeah, and yeah, that leads to the next. Automatically, actually, when we talk about
Mm.
growing and think purposeful progress.
Yeah.
Purposeful progress. The concept of purposeful progress. It's not, when you start a journey, you want to go there straight away. No, on most journeys, there's not just one point in the distance you can see. You have to move left
Of
and right
course.
and over the crossroads and over mountains and through valleys to get somewhere. Look at it.
Nothing's linear.
We just live an hour apart, but it's like all nooks and crannies and small roads, highways and
Oh
byways.
my goodness, tell me about it. It is an hour, but it's an interesting journey.
Yeah, and it's mile wise, it's not much, but it's just there's no speed there.
Yeah,
It's
that's so
it's
true.
purpose.
That's so true.
Yeah, yeah.
But we often tend to think, let's say, success. That success is linear, and we start, we do some work, and then
But
we grow like this, and we get on top. No, in reality, there is loads of ups and downs, and sometimes we can fail completely. But as I always say, there
Yeah,
is no failures, there are only
yeah,
opportunities to learn. And
that's it.
that's what a purposeful progress is, to be one step further in a journey. Even though we failed, it's a learning there.
Yeah,
And I think Temperance card is a great example and a great teacher of um, progressing with I'm trying, I have a vision and I'm trying to use the words now to do with the Temperance. When she's holding two glasses,
two
or
cups.
two
Yeah,
cups, yes, there is a process of pouring one onto another, and the Temperance, the angel which is holding those cups, is patient, is making sure that the progress is actually going
there.
on. So
Yeah,
it's not that it's holding the cups like this. Oh, wait a second, I'll see on the screen where I
yeah,
am. It's never in a linear line. No, it's always one cup
yeah.
is a little bit on top of the other,
That's
just to
it.
make sure that the progress will actually happen, so that there will be that flow we talked
Yeah,
about.
and the funny thing, the important thing is like we were just last Monday talking about the progress in manifesting
Mm.
your life. One of the teachings is always go for your goal, but do it with baby steps. Because
Mm.
with baby steps, you can miss a few beats, but you're still on track.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And that takes me to the importance of planning as well.
yeah,
Sometimes we can do something without planning steps ahead, but it's more to chance rather than planned and designed action, but with
yeah,
using baby steps and planning things out. Okay, this is where I need, and the next step will be like this. It makes the entire process more uh, achievable, more easy to take a first step, because usually the first step is the hardest to take, and then it's easier to measure that as well and find the mistakes quicker.
yeah, yeah, and learn from them and move on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, and purposefully progress through
yeah.
those. Yeah.
So our sixth point for today was alchemy and transformation.
Mm.
So that's the transformative part of
Mm.
temperance. But as we said, there's a whole card in the Thoth Tarot which has that as their main topic. So let's move on to the next
Yes.
one and take alchemy and transformation as a separate topic for next week.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
that.
So there you get to the end of spiritual harmony,
Mm.
and harmony is of course reflection, meditation, balanced lifestyle, finding the virtues, and not getting carried away in the other things.
Mm.
Spiritual harmony.
Yes, well, what spiritual harmony is, for me, it would be integrating the spirit into your daily life, not meditating once a week for 15 minutes, but having a ritual of connecting to your own soul. Our producer
Yes,
is
is
here.
waking up,
Yes.
waking up, and
Hello.
to yeah. So yeah, what the spiritual harmony means: connecting to your deeper self, to your true self, and yeah, and the true purpose of yourself, the baby steps to manifesting the ideal life in harmony with the universe,
Mm,
because we believe in the forces of the
of
universe,
course. Um,
and the universe has the best in mind for us.
Absolutely, always, because we came here to learn. And maybe it's not always the way we would wish it to happen. However, the universe always has our backs. And even if we're going through a tough situation, the universe has our back.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And with that, our
With
dear
that said,
viewers,
thank you so much for being here with us. If you like our content, remember to press that like button, share it with your friends, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to
subscribe
our channel
to our
because
channel.
it helps us grow.
Okay, and thank you all.
Thank you.
Goodbye.